Hello, beautiful people. What's up, y'all? So I want to share with y'all this experience that I just had. So God just moved me here. God just moved me to Houston, Texas. And for those who do not know, I'm presently without shelter and seeking to literally go day by day and taking God at every word and every bit of God's will and God's way, right? And so I just went and got something to eat. And at the restaurant, the lady was talking to me and she found out I just moved here, yada woo, right? And so she's like, why'd you move here? I said, because God sent me here. And she's like, so where are you living? I'm like, I'm without shelter at the moment. And she's like, so she's like, you're a pretty young woman and you're out here and you're without shelter, yada woo. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, you're not afraid? I was like, not really. I said, I trust that I am protected, right? I don't choose to give in to any amounts of fear. Of course, there can be a sense of fear when it comes to being homeless, but then the thought process of recognizing that you can live in your own home that can be heavily guarded with guard dogs, security guards, a security system, alarm system, everything, and your house can be broken into and you can still be hurt, harmed, killed, you know what I'm saying, or worse, right? Tortured, kidnapped, or some shit like that, and you're in a home, right? You're in a physical shelter, a physical home, right, where you feel secure at. And how many stories have we heard where so many different people were mistreated or abused and taken advantage of in their own homes or in their own, you know what I'm saying, their own communities, their own neighborhoods, in the own safety of their dwellings, right? And so one of the things that really sticks out to me about the whole conversation is the fact that we a lot of the times will allow fear, and I'm about to get into the conversation in a second, but we allow fear to be the thing that stands in the way of us moving in the way that God really desires for us to move, right? And I understand that a part of having this experience in this realm, this is a big, way of us for learning and stuff like that. I understand that fear is going to come up. But the moment you decide to become afraid of something, you immediately lower your vibration. You immediately lower your level of consciousness or dwelling. How many times have you been afraid? And because you were afraid, you couldn't think straight. And then when you are no longer in that fear place, that fearful place, 2, 3, 4, you are no longer in that fearful place or that fearful state of being. How many times were you able to think more consciously and think more clearly? This is because fear automatically lowers your frequency. It automatically lowers your vibration. It automatically lowers your energetic vibrational field into a place where it's almost like you let your guard down. And I don't know who needs to fucking hear this, but you are more powerful than anything that you could ever begin to be afraid of. And there is a difference between being fearful and being in danger. There are dangers that exist in this world, and to be aware of those things and to recognize the dangers that exist are very important, right? But at the same time, we cannot let the dangers or any fears that come up at any point in time for us to be the thing, 3, 2, 1, to be the thing that stands in the way of where God is leading us and where God is wanting for us to go. Because again, you are more powerful than anything. Look at that alarm going off as I'm saying that. You are much more powerful than anything that could ever come up against you. But it's because you don't know that about yourself. 3, 4, 5. You don't know that about yourself. So you can't operate in that frequency. You're afraid of something that literally can't fucking touch you. You're afraid of something that can't do shit to you. You're afraid of something that has no power over you. You're afraid of something that can't do anything to you. And how many times have you had an experience where you were afraid of something or fearful of a person, and the minute you stood up to that person or stood up to that thing and faced that fear, you realized the thing wasn't as powerful as you thought it was. It was only as powerful as you mentally or emotionally gave it power. You gave that thing power. And the more power you gave it, the more powerful it became. And then when you face that fear, when you face that dragon, when you face that darkness, you realize it wasn't as bad or as terrible or as offsetting as you thought it was going to be. 444. So back to the conversation. So in the conversation, y'all, I mentioned the age of Aquarius. For those who do not know, we are coming into the age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius is about intuition, knowing knowledge, right? It's about being tapped into your higher frequencies and your consciousness. It's about being connected to spirit, right? And so do your research. Don't just take my word for it. And so, yeah, do your research. Don't just take my word for it. But we're entering into the age of Aquarius. The minute I said something about Aquarius, she was like, wait a minute, isn't Aquarius a zodiac? And I was like, yes. And she was like, so it sounds to me like you are mixing God with zodiac. And I said, well, God is, right? So God created the universe that we exist in, right? So because God created and because God is, and that means everything, right? Every part of the energetic field that we exist in is God. God created it. Now, the difference between, or the difference is we use the energy how we choose to use the energy, meaning God created the energy 555. God created the energy for a specific intent and a specific purpose that God wanted that energy to be used with, right? But because we are who we are and existing in this realm the way we've created the world to be, we choose to use that energy and we choose to use those frequencies and things in the way we choose to use them. And so we don't recognize that we're operating out of a lesser frequency. We don't recognize that we're operating out of a lower or unhealthy frequency or unhealthy way of being, right? And so what we have to recognize is, what she said was, y'all, I'm so excited. I got so many different pieces of this. I'm trying to get it out. Lord have mercy, God. So she, when I mentioned Aquarius, she immediately shut down because she was like, "Isn't Aquarius a zodiac?" And I'm like, "Yes." But what we have to recognize about zodiacs is that zodiacs is a part. It's simply to help teach us, the time that we essentially were born into, right? What the energy was like when we were born, and so it helps teach us how to navigate in that energy, in that frequency. That's essentially, it pretty much in a nutshell what a zodiac is. Can't give it more power than that, right? But the fact of the matter is, a zodiac is what a zodiac is. And so because the age of Aquarius is here, it is reigning, we are on the cusp of the age of Aquarius. It's here, right? And so because of that, we are entering into a phase of knowing and knowledge. And so when I walked in, I told them that I was a healer. And they said, a healer? Like, you got to elaborate on that. What does that mean? And I said, well, the best way I know how to explain it to you, I said, I am here to raise the overall vibrational consciousness of the planet, right? And they said, raise the what the vibration of the what, right? And so I started breaking it down to them and explaining it to them. And it's so interesting because that's when they then found out that I was without shelter. Because I'll always have a home, baby. As long as I have love and peace in God, baby, I'm at home. Just know that, okay? But they immediately started talking about how, they couldn't be me, 808. They immediately started talking about they couldn't be me because, they're too afraid. And I said, see that right there? I said, that's a lower vibrational consciousness. You just lowered your frequency right there. And they was just like, no. They said, no, there's a sense of healthy fear. That's what the world wants you to think. There's no fucking such thing as a healthy fear. There is fear and then there is danger. Be aware of danger because danger is very real. But fear is a thing that helps you not to be able to think straight or operate in the way that you need to be operating in. And so I just wanted to get on here and share that experience, y'all. Listen to me. The vibrational consciousness of the planet is rising. You better get with it or you gonna get left, right? If God is leading you to do any particular thing, you have to trust that God is going to provide you with the protection, the finances, the love, the support, the encouragement that you are going to need to make it to where God is leading you. You have to trust that. You have to know that with every fiber in your being. So many of us are living in lower vibrational ways of being because we are afraid of something that can't fucking touch us. You're afraid of something that can't do shit to you. You're afraid of something that can't even come. A lot of these things we're afraid of can't come near us. It's all in our minds. I don't know who need to hear this, baby, but it's time for you to overcome those fears because they're only as powerful and they're only as real as you give them the energy for. But that's the message, beautiful beings. I love you. Peace and love. Deuces.